What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest gaming podcast on the internet, the One Up Gamescast. I'm one of your hosts, Carl Sinclair, joined as always by my brother from another mother, the man with the plan, Master Chief in the streets, Master Cheeks in the sheets, Jack Gibb. How you doing, buddy?
Doing very well, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. You know what I mean? We had a public holiday today. It was great. I got a lot of work done, and I'm not gonna lie, I napped for a little bit. It was very, very magical. I enjoyed it.
Don't do that to me. Don't
It was a magical moment, mate. But it wasn't like an intentional nap. It wasn't an intentional one, right? It was like it was one where I was on the bed. Me and Ty were there. We were watching something on my phone, and then that was it. We both gone. It was like, yeah, we just woke up. It was like, yeah, I think it was like 45 minutes, and then we just woke up, and then it was like, oh, that was actually it's pretty good. I love a good nap during the day, you know what I mean? We don't get them often enough, you know? People are like, oh, you want to weed kids off naps really early, otherwise they're going to be up all night. No, lies, I say. I say you weed them off when they hit about 3, right? And then when they hit about 27, you slowly let them nap again. Slowly let them get a nap, and it'll just make life so much easier for them. Oh, yeah, man. Huh. Mate, we got to...
Do you reckon if I just laid down right now, you could hold the podcast for half an hour?
I could. I think I could.
Hang on, there was an episode at one point.
There is one.
Yeah. Kid, I'm gonna go help a kid out, and you just didn't stop talking. I came back, and you were still going.
Yeah. And there's actually
like 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's actually an episode that exists that I have not released. Where it was one week where we couldn't do it together, and I recorded an episode, and it was just me, and it was like an hour and 15 minutes of just me talking about the news of the week.
You should have said it to me. I would have put it up.
Yeah, it's one of those special things.
I think that's when baby number 2 was born.
Yeah.
I think that's what. Yeah, that's right.
And one day I feel like we'll just drop it because it's really like I make a joke. There's a part in it where I make a joke and there's no one there to reciprocate. And I just go, and then I move on to the next topic. It's so funny. We'll have to put it up one day. It'll be like a special day.
Once the election's over and my podcast queue dies down a little bit, send it to me for a drive to work one morning.
Honestly, it's so funny, so funny. Yeah, mate, we got a. I don't think it's going to be a big show, but it's a fun show. We got a Nintendo Direct yesterday. And it's not often we get to enjoy a Nintendo Direct not long after the last one, but we got a Nintendo Mario Kart World Direct where they unveiled the evolution of their Mario Kart series and basically went through and told us everything that we needed to know, which they definitely could have done during the Treehouse Live and probably during the previous Direct, but they wanted, just make it a nice little fun one. It was like 15-20 minutes, so it wasn't overly long, but we did get a lot of exciting news from this. And mate,
Was there really that much new info though?
I think power-ups were a big thing. We got to look at how the tracks, what tracks we're getting, what classic ones are returning, exactly how the map is laid out. We found out that Rainbow Road is an unlockable, how free roam works, how costumes work, how upgrades work, collectibles, multiplayer.
I feel like I assumed some of it though is the problem. You know what I mean? Like I assumed there was collectibles, but yeah, I guess we hadn't seen them yet.
Yeah. I feel like that was I think a lot of this was confirmation of some staple stuff returning. Like of course the balloon battle mode was going to be there, but now we've just had it confirmed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
A lot of confirmation because
I never doubted it was gone.
Yeah, exactly. But with this being the start of the new era of Mario Kart, they're basically releasing a Forza Horizon game. They are releasing a Burnout Paradise. They are releasing their version of an open world racer. But instead of a Ferrari, it's a little kart with an M on it, which in some ways is even better. I like it a lot more. But yeah, this definitely looks like the most ambitious entry in the Mario Kart series ever. I think the last time people were this sort of what's going on was when they released Mario Kart on the DS. So it's pretty big. So I've got an article up on the website. You guys can go check it out after the show. We did do a live reaction that is also going to be up on YouTube. Thank you to everybody who was watching last night, interacting in the chat and being awesome peeps. We reacted live on stream, had a good conversation about it. But yeah, you can check out the live reacts over on YouTube. So I've broken it down. So I broke it down in the article into like new items, new techniques, new mechanics, new map, all that sort of stuff. So we'll just go through each one, talk about what we think we should talk about stuff that excited us, stuff that's interesting, stuff that we want to, maybe expand upon. And then, we'll get to the end and then, we'll all shake hands and then we'll all go off and play Rainbow Six Siege. All right. So first things first, new items to shake up the meta. They showed 3 new items that are pretty, they're pretty cool. They're pretty big. Actually, no, they showed 4. So the Mega Mushroom is a mushroom that allows you to grow enormous and drive over everybody in your path. That was a really cool addition. The hammer. The hammer was an interesting one. So the hammer allows you to toss forward a hammer from like a hammer bro, and it creates devastating hazards on the track. So once you throw this hammer, the hammer will then begin to copy itself and like multiple times, but they don't disappear straight away. They create like a stream of hammers across the track. So not only will you hit the person you've aimed for, but if somebody like veers across in front of you and you have hammers in front, they're going to hit the hammers. Like, it just creates a very interesting sort of hazard that's really going to shake up a race. Like a lot of the time when you throw an item like that's supposed to stay on the track, it's like one of them, but it's also like people are expecting a banana, people are ready to dodge a banana, whereas like these hammers feel like such a come in clutch sort of item. You know what I mean? Like if you guys are racing towards the finish line and you like know that this person you're racing against has a tendency to veer across you or something like that, perfect chance to just throw a hammer, and as he veers across, hit a hammer. Because they just like, so many of them, and they stay on the track for a few seconds. They're not on there long. Like I feel like the gameplay makes it seem like they stick around a little bit longer than they actually do. But yeah, very cool item, very cool sort of like, I think it's a thinking man's item, which will be very interesting. Another thinking man's item is the feather. It makes you do a massive high jump, so you can dodge shells, you can access secret paths. No word yet on if the blue shell is still going to mess you up if you're jumping, but I would assume so. Yep. Like nothing stops the blue shell.
I think the feather is a real counter to the 24 players because there's going to be so much more shit on the track.
Tons.
But between this and the rail grinding and some other things we'll probably talk about, it seems like there's going to be plenty of ways to sort of dodge and sort of not fight back, but just, not be as affected. Yeah. Not sure how that'll play out in the meta. Not even sure if that's a good thing, but I think the feather is very counter to the player count.
Very true. And we got was it a golden shell or a golden? It was a golden shell that you throw.
Yeah, so you throw it out and it'll just drop a bunch of coins. So you can stock up your coin pool, which the coins make you go faster or some shit, right?
They do, yeah. I'm pretty sure a stockpile of coins make you go quicker.
But the big catch is the coins are about a second ahead of you, so someone could jump in and steal some coins.
And that's when you throw a hammer.
And
then they also showed some returning items such as the bullet bill, the lightning, the blue shell, all that stuff will also be returning. And as we were just alluding to, they've also introduced some new techniques to sort of like deepen the level of gameplay. So you have something that you can do whenever that isn't feather related, but it's called the charge jump. So I feel like the charge jump might be... I think it might be better than the feather, but the feather is like an instant sort of thing. With the charge jump, you need to hold and release the drift button while you're on straightaways, and then you will perform a leap. So you're able to dodge obstacles, and you will land with a boost. So holding the charge longer will allow for a big jump and a quicker boost. So it's that...
I get the feeling you won't be able to dodge as much as the feather.
Yeah, I feel like the feather's like quick response sort of thing. I feel like if you know something's coming from behind, you can do like a quick dodge and jump. But I feel like this is more to do with getting into these sort of higher up areas and onto walls and stuff like that. Which we'll talk about now. Wall riding, and they also have rail grinding. So they have like rails set around the map. They have walls on each side, very much giving off that sort of like the comparison I made like back when we first saw Mario Kart World was like Fortnite, very much like a Fortnite like sort of racing thing where you jump from wall to wall, you grind, you boost. But I think they've done, I mean, so they should, you know what I mean? Like the Fortnite racing is great, but it's just like a small part of a large game. Whereas like they've definitely seemed like they've done a lot of work on it, and it's going to work a lot better, which it should, because it's primarily a kart racing game. But yeah, looks good. I think it's going to mix it up a little bit, but the thing that excites me most about these additions are the interesting tracks that we'll probably get. Like the new tracks are going to be so interesting because they're built to incorporate this stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how the classic tracks go when it's like primarily probably like more of a classic feel. Now, who knows? They might like revamp some tracks. You know what I mean? Like they might remix Moo Moo Meadows and stuff like that. You know, and really make it
wall running and stuff.
Yeah, work in this new sort of Mario Kart world. But yeah, very very cool.
Can I bring a hot take in?
Yes.
This is an appropriate time to bring in a hot take.
Appropriate.
I think the charge jump is a solution to how many areas are just going to be like. How many times in the Grand Prix you're just going to be racing straight for 20, 30 seconds? Like, I think the charge jump is to give you something to do, make it a little bit faster, make it a little bit more interesting. Like, I don't think that mechanic is really there to make, like, the game more skillful. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I think that specifically will create new interesting things, but I just don't think I don't think that was there first. I feel like the long straight, hey, you've got to race across this rail yard first. I think that existed, and it's like, oh shit, what can players do? Because you might not actually be able to drift for like 40 seconds. So it's like, what can we introduce to make the game? You know what I mean? So I feel like that's where the charge jump comes in. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think it's like, it makes sense that this is the game that suddenly has a charge jump.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's probably pretty true. Trying to figure out ways to make it more interesting, especially with like lots of open areas and stuff with this game. So makes a lot of sense.
Like I guess there was a small clip, very small clip, but someone was rail grinding and a turtle did not hit them because they were rail grinding. And I think the problem this game could have had is that in these really long open areas that sort of pop up just between courses, like it could have resulted in like fucking 40 shells coming at you from every single player behind you.
Yeah.
So I think that's why there's just so many things that allow you to sort of jump around left, right, dodge. Like I don't think you're going to be invincible, but I just think it's going to just give you a fucking chance.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Speaking about giving you a chance, this is the most interesting thing they've added, and this is the most
wild
Forza thing that they've put in here. In solo and free roam modes, players can rewind their kart to retry failed tricks or reroute. Now, it doesn't pause anybody. Like, everyone just still keeps racing around you. It just rewinds just you.
Does it rewind them in single player, though?
I don't think so. I think everybody just keeps moving. Like, whether you're in single or anything,
They highlighted very specifically, like in multiplayer, you could use rewind, but it doesn't impact anyone else at all.
Just you. And I'm like, wow. That is Jesus Christ. Like that's an interesting choice.
It's very kid friendly though, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like well, they also went over all that stuff as well.
Yeah, like it's probably not a bad thing, but it just like I couldn't imagine Forza ever doing that. Like why would it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's interesting. But yeah, like honestly, everything they're adding, sort of like, it doesn't feel like it's taking away from anything. Every sort of addition that they've made feels like maybe not even a natural progression. It just feels like they're really trying to mix up the formula, add a bit more strategy, add a bit more skill, like more of a skill gap to the game. And honestly, I'm here for it. If it makes it. Because, I mean, Mario Kart's already such a game that you can sink time into and replay over and over again. But I feel like with all this sort of stuff and all these new routes and stuff, like, it really is sort of becoming more like of a, maybe I'll find a new route on this track next time, you know what I mean? The replay value is just going up and up and up, especially with everything that you're going to have to learn as well and get good at. Like, yeah, definitely very, very cool. Let's talk about some tracks, mate. 4 brand new courses were revealed. The Mario Bros. Circuit, a canyon-based track with grind rails and a vertical design. We got to look at Crown City. You can navigate tight urban streets and soaring ramps. We got to look at Boo Cinema, a haunted movie theater with trick doors and ghostly hazards. Salty Speedway, a seaside course featuring wave mechanics and dynamic obstacles. And then we got to look at some returning favorites, including Peach Beach, Wario Shipyard, Toad's Factory, Vanilla Lake, and there was also Moo Moo Meadows as well.
I'm returning maps in this big map.
Yeah. Oh,
and
so
the
good.
circuit revealed sort of My worry was after the main reveal was like, yeah, there's some circuits, but really this point-to-point stuff, which is way less tight, way less interesting. This is our focus. And I was like, oh, all right. But no, it looks like there's plenty of tight circuits. I'm assuming you can just do a 3-lap circuit race. I'm assuming that's still a fucking thing that you can do.
Yeah, I would assume so, yeah.
And Salty Speedway looks fucking awful, but the rest of it looks great. My opinion, if anyone was interested.
For the first time in the Mario Kart franchise,
here we go.
They're introducing an open world hub that connects every course in the game. So this world allows players to explore between races, find hidden collectibles, complete time trials, and unlock secrets. In free roam mode, players can drive without restriction, uncover shortcuts, and take on side missions, making this the boldest step yet in reimagining what Mario Kart can be. You can find collectibles, which will allow you to... So customization on the karts is sort of gone in a way. Like, you can still, like, you know, change your wings, I think, and all that sort of stuff. But as far as, like, you know, changing tires and setting up your kart to be different from everybody else, it's kind of gone. Like, they've kind of leveled the playing field there. But what you can do is when you're out and about and you can, like, pull into a drive-through, get some food, you will then change the look of your racer, which is very, very cool. So there's going to be a whole bunch of different outfits and stuff like that for you to unlock for all the different races. You know, make Mario look like a cowboy, make him look like a professional race car driver and all that fun stuff. So that is going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually very keen to, you know, just grab each character and go around, do a little loop and hit all these different food joints and change everyone's outfits. I think it's going to be super cool. Make everybody look like they're from Japan. That's my goal. Everyone in their kimonos. I hope Bowser gets like samurai armor or something like that. That would be cool. But yeah, very, very cool. I kind of like that. Free roam looks like it looks very big. Like, I will say that it looks very big, and it looks like there is quite a bit to do. It just looks very empty in some parts. You know what I mean? We've seen a lot of, like, I think it's on purpose though, is we've seen a lot of the open world out in the open world as opposed to like what the tracks look like as you drive into them. Because I mean, if these tracks are just a part of the world, I'm sure, like, you know, places like Peach's Castle and all that sort of stuff will be drivable. You know what I mean? There will be a location that you can drive around and like find collectibles and stuff. But they've been very purposely showing just like the open world is like, oh, this is out in the desert. There's a drive-through. Go to the drive-through. Oh, now you're up in some mountains. You're up in some hills, and you know, you see stuff around, but you don't like they haven't necessarily gone there. So I think that's going to be a very big sort of wow moment for people when they like put their card in and they turn their Switch 2's on launch day and they start playing. I think that's going to be the very big like oh my god moment. Which you can do with friends because multiplayer is getting a massive overhaul. So it has 24-player online races, it has local split screen, it has game chat voice integration, and Nintendo Switch webcam support for face-to-face racing. So basically, if you have a Nintendo Switch camera or any sort of camera that you can plug in, USB-C camera, you can put your face and your friends can put their faces in the game. You can stream the game to each other. In all, it's like 4 frames a second glory. Something that I thought was pretty cool is if you and 3 of your friends are on the couch playing, sorry, I'm yawning, I don't mean to, playing 4-player, like split screen co-op, the Nintendo Switch camera can find all 4 of your faces and it supports up to 4 people on it, and they can put the camera, put the profile pictures above the right carts and all that sort of stuff. So that's really cool. I like that. I like that they're like, hey, we're still going to allow you guys to do this fun stuff with the camera, even if you're all in the same room together. So I like that a lot.
I did like that a lot.
It was very, very cool. Yeah, that's that. Look, honestly, that's mainly everything. Like that. That it was like a 15-minute show, so you know it wasn't too crazy. It is launching June 5th. It is only coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. You can pick the game up here in Australia for $190.95. Yeah, that's right, over $100 Americans. Or you can get the Switch 2 Mario Kart World Bundle for $769.95. Oh, you hear that, America? Oh. Yeah, pretty good show. It was pretty good. I thought it was, it got me excited. You know what I mean? It got me excited. I was excited before, but now I'm very, very excited to jump in. I think we said it last night. I don't need to see any more. I don't want to see any more. I think we've seen just enough. Like, I'm good. And then we went wild. Like, if you guys haven't watched the reaction, please do, because like then we started talking about DLC, and I just wanted to mention it again. This map looks like it can add like new like sections to it. And if they add Hyrule, I'm gonna cry manly tears of manliness. You know what I mean? I can see Hyrule coming. I can see like an Odyssey-inspired island sort of connecting on. You got New Donk City. You got some other stuff inspired by Odyssey 1. Odyssey 2 stuff can be there. A Splatoon world sort of like connects on. It's almost going to look like Super Nintendo World if it was just all Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like, is this the blueprint for Universal's new theme park? Maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe. But nah, very, very cool. Actually can't wait to jump in, mate. But, mate, what did you think? Did you love it?
Yeah, no, I'm glad I watched it. I think it's helped me understand the game better, appreciate the scale of the game more. Some of the concerns I have definitely lessened. I still think the Grand Prix mode, I feel like the driving between maps isn't... I think that's going to end up being like the thing that was oversold a little bit. Like, it's a long drive to do one lap of the course.
Yeah, bit tedious.
I think after a while it could be, but I don't know. They might just add, like, in a year's time, they might add Grand Prixes that are a bit more old-fashioned. Like, they just jump to the next course. Like, I think it's going to be a supported game, you know what I mean? So I don't think any of this is necessarily, like, locked in stone forever with no changes or additions. So, I think it's very exciting. They're asking for a lot of money for this game, so it's got to deliver. So, I think there's enough categories and modes and I think there's enough there to achieve that. I really won't probably say they've delivered on it until I get to play it myself, but I believe they can. And I wasn't 100% sold originally. Plenty of people were, and I have no problems with that. But I'm keen to... I was happy this was played on my screen, got to watch it, and I'm keen to play it come June.
Not long.
I don't know. There's nothing in it where I'm sitting here like, gee, they didn't do this, or I wish they'd done that. Like, I think they've covered it all. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, it does feel like the most like feature-rich Mario Kart at launch that I think like we could say like we've ever gotten in a way. Like,
yes, and it's doing things that I wish like Forza Horizon do. Like, this would be the 14th episode I've mentioned this on, but like, why there isn't circuit tracks inside of the Forza Horizon world, I will never fucking understand.
Yeah,
like there's always like that one, sort of little-ish circuity track near the festival, but just 2 or 3, 4 or 5, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking for 20, like, it's not a circuit racer, but I do wish there's a couple of street circuits, especially like you go to Mexico, there has to be a Mexican racetrack worth adding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There has to be. Like, where was the 4th game? Britain. Like, just chuck a cheeky Silverstone in there or whatever. I don't know.
I was so surprised that in the British one, they didn't just like chuck in the Top Gear test track or something. Like, I feel like that would have been freaking awesome. People would have loved that.
They probably would have if they went there a few years earlier, maybe. But that'd be so cool. Like, instead of just a random airfield, it's like, it's the airfield,
Yeah.
Obviously Horizon 3 should have had Bathurst. You go on and on, but just 1 or 2 street circuits or something, just so you can have that tight knit racing experience if you want. I know that might take away from Forza Motorsport a little bit, but like, Forza Motorsport's been absent for so long, like, I feel like it could have really carried the torch for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about Forza Horizon. Mario Kart's nailing it.
Yeah.
I'm really keen to see how it works inside of Mario Kart, because I think I hope the Horizon team's watching closely. Is what I'm trying to get to, I guess, with my point.
Yeah, honestly.
Not because they're competing with it, because they might learn from it.
True. I'm super excited to see where this Mario Kart is in like 3 years' time. I think that will be like the real show of like, are we still looking forward to new tracks, new content? You know what I mean? Are we just like still firmly happy with this Mario Kart and not even thinking about the next one? You know what I mean? Because I feel like this is it. This is our Mario Kart for the Switch 2. Like, I don't see them.
Decade,
yeah, I do not see them dropping another one anytime soon. Like, Mario, like they've gone out of their way to call it Mario Kart World. So like, if they suddenly have an idea for a track, I feel like it just makes way more sense to just drop it into the world. You know what I mean? If they have more ideas, like I was thinking about this. Like, what if they started doing DLC, right? And then what they did was for every DLC, they add like, say they add like a Grand Prix, right? And it's like, okay, we're dropping Hyrule. We've got a Hyrule Grand Prix. And if you complete that Grand Prix, a new Rainbow Road or a classic Rainbow Road is introduced, and then it suddenly adds to the sky with the other Rainbow Road. You know what I mean? And then suddenly, by the end of this whole Mario Kart World experience, we've just got a sky full of Rainbow Roads and all that sort of stuff. We've got like extended aisles. Like, it's just the biggest Mario Kart ever. Like, I would love for us to be sitting down here in like 8 years' time, and they've just announced like the Super Nintendo Loverboy 4, and I'm like, yeah, man, I can't wait to play the Super Nintendo Loverboy. It's going to be great. But man, the Switch 2, what a great time that was. Mario Kart World, man, what a great freaking time that was. Like, oh, every imagine like a massive Rainbow Road, like connecting every Rainbow Road together. Like, they could do so much.
Yeah, for what you wish for.
Man, they could do so much. Could be so good. And I'm here for it. I'm very, very excited to see where they take it, what they do with it. Please don't show us anymore. And next time, pile all of this together and just play it during the other direct. I don't care if the other direct was an hour and a half. I probably would have been way more happy walking away from that being like, man, Mario Kart looks big. No wonder we didn't get to see anything else.
Yeah. It would be pretty doubtless. I think the one, like, I do kind of wish they would address the DLC just a little bit, because I think the price is high. And I think if it's a paid DLC plan, I kind of feel like we deserve to know, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because if they're like, hey, there will be free DLC in the future, we'll be adding biomes, tracks, modes, players, et cetera, for free. I'm like, damn, that's fine. Yeah, I on this podcast, we've said many times, happy to pay up front if if it's worth it. I don't want to get slugged every season $30 or whatever. So I think this has such a potential to hit well in that sense. That I hope it does. Good potential here.
Me too. I'm keen. Well, mate, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. We'll come back. We'll do it again next week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Really do appreciate it. Like we said at the start, we did do a live reaction to this over on stream, so be sure to head over to YouTube and check out that live reaction. It was good fun. I had fun doing it. I hope you guys had fun doing it. I thought it was good. Nice to sit there, have a chin wag while catching up on Nintendo's latest. That's always fun. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, thank you very much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you want to keep up to date with everything we're up to, latest in news, reviews, and previews, you can head over to oneupgames.com. Be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching us over on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on podcast services, drop us a follow there. We're posting this one every single week, so we really appreciate the love and support. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it from us this week. Until next time, may all of your games be good ones, and we will catch you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.